to create new work. Here, this is what RISD is giving you this opportunity. So it's a great opportunity to take this body of work you've already completed and think about what's the next step, or what haven't I explored that I'd like to go into. It also helps establish, anytime you get awarded a grant, it establishes a relationship with the funder, with the foundation. It's actually an investment in you. When somebody gives you an opportunity like this, a residency, because that's another form of funding, by the way, is having time and space or facilities to work. It's another great opportunity. But in this case, this is RISD reinvesting in their students to see that they have the support they need to do a fabulous thesis, the support they need to do some interesting work outside of school after they graduate. So they've made an investment in you, and frankly, once somebody awards you funding, they want to see you succeed. Because you're kind of like part of the family. It's really interesting to feel like you're on the inside of things. Even if you don't get selected, going through this process will give you a better understanding about what you're doing as an artist. And that's really important, because that just really pushes your work forward. And that's another reason why it's crucial that you regularly throw your hat in the ring and apply for these things. So you have a better understanding of what you wish to accomplish, why you want to undertake it, and how you plan to go about doing it. It really provides clarity. You know, the book that I just wrote, very first thing, because I know something about this process, yeah.
You haven't mentioned the name of the book. What's the name?
Yes, it's called The Artist's Guide, How to Make a Living Doing What You Love. It's $17.95, so cheap. And you get it cheaper than that. And I love to sign my name.
70% off.
I love to sign my name. So I think we've got it down to $15 for you guys. Anyway. And there's a whole chapter there on writing grants. Besides what's here, what else? So it really helps do clarity. When I sat down, when I thought about writing my book, I realized, look, if I look at the pie chart of my life, teaching and lecturing certainly is part of it. It is part of an income stream for me. Yes, I get money to do this. But by far, the biggest part of my income stream is actually sales of my studio work. I'm a painter, and I'm printmaker and drawer, and so I make things that people buy and put on walls and install in all sorts of places. So that's how I make my living. I realized that writing the book was going to change that dynamic, that I wasn't going to be as focused in the studio. I didn't realize how much it would impinge on my painting, but basically it stopped me from painting for 3 years because I couldn't do that and put the energy I needed to put it in the book. So I looked realistically at that picture. Kids in college, I still have to maintain my half of the mortgage. What do? I put together a budget. What would it really cost me in real terms to write this book? And I came up with $80,000. It's going to cost me. And I had to pay myself. I wanted to pay somebody to help me do some editing of the book because I needed that dialogue with a more experienced writer to shape the book. I had all sorts of things I needed in there. Inkjet cartridges for one draft after another is going to cost a bunch of money. So I actually took the time to do the fundraising first. And because I looked honestly at what I needed, I raised $50,000 in grants to fund that book. And who did I go to? I went to relationships I'd already developed within the field over the years and said, this is what I'm doing. And some of them supported the book and some of them didn't, and that was fine. And I topped it off with $30,000 advance from my publisher for the book. So when that book got published, I didn't start out the day that the book came out being $80,000 in the hole, or at least $50,000 in the hole in debt because I wrote this book. No, I started out at a nice even place so I could move from there. We artists often work on a scarcity model. We underfund ourselves. We don't look carefully at what it really costs us to do things. You know, one of the things I make my Columbia students do, they hate it, but I make them do a lot of things they hate. I mean, actually, my class is really about all the stuff that nobody wants to do or think about. But I make them do financial tracking. Anybody ever here done financial tracking? Yeah, there's a few financial trackers in here, right? I make them for a month. They have to keep track of absolutely everything they have spent money on. Little, big, everything. Rent, food, whatever, and we add it up. I said, you all want to live in New York City next year and you're $80,000 in student debt. How much does it really cost you to live in New York City? What do you need to do about this? I mean, you need to start thinking about this now. So, knowing what it costs you to make your art will really be important for you in maintaining. The idea for me is that to maintain you as artists, as designers, as architects for the rest of your life. And you can't do that by underfunding yourself every year. Okay, so that's why it's better, and having to write grants for the book, then it was easy to write a book proposal. That got me an editor, that got me an agent, that got me an editor. So all those things work together. It slowed down the process for me to actually have but I meant I considered I built a solid foundation upon which to do the book. So for you guys, this is your start for a good foundation for next year when you're out there applying for other opportunities. You will have this one to draw upon. So okay, here's the elements of the RISD Graduate Studies Grant. Sorry. You need to do a project description of 300 words maximum. Does anybody know what 300 words look like on a page? It's not a lot, but it's a nice healthy chunk of. I'm going to show a few images in a little while, and each of these are short statements by artists. Some of them are artist statements, one is a project description, and they're all about half of what you need to write. So it's just enough to get you, for you to be able to explain what it is that you want to do. This 300 words has to do, it's a description of the work. So you need to describe what is it that you intend to do with this grant. And if it's a series of paintings, turn it into a project. It's a series of paintings that will explore this, and that. It's prints that it's a series of digital prints that will go through this mechanism, use this something or other, something else like that, and turn it around, upside down. Just tell, because what anybody's going to look at, first of all, the person who's judging this grant doesn't know you. They don't know you at all. They don't know what a great student you are. No faculty, it's not a faculty member that has a sense of what you meant. What people look at when they look at a project description, they ask themselves two questions. What is it? You need to be able to answer that question. What is it that it sounds dumb, but really, I can't tell you how many times I read what artists have written. You know, my students have written, I said, well, what is it? From what you're describing, I have no idea what it is that you're trying to do. So simply being able to